Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you how I train up my sweet autumn clematis. So basically I have a small trellis, which is probably maybe 4 feet or so, and I start off my clematis in the early spring on that trellis, and then when it gets heated up a bit it starts taking off and it becomes this like kind of green wall, and I want to train it up a wooden pillar that we have in our backyard. And that blooms, that sweet autumn clematis blooms in September, but it's a very nice like green, very lush looking vine in the meantime. And basically like what I do is I have some eye hooks that I bought like from, you know, a hardware store. They're kind of, I think they're galvanized steel so they don't rust or anything like that. And basically I've just put like, I think 5 of them into the wooden pillar at various points, and those I leave in there year round. And then what I basically do is I take some jute twine and I weave it through those eye hooks to create kind of a trellis out of the twine. And then I slowly kind of train the sweet autumn clematis a little bit at the bottom of that, and then it just does it by itself. It just trains itself up all the way to the top of the makeshift trellis. And I wanted to show you how I do that because it's very easy to do. Anyone can do that. So, and it's a natural material, the twine. What happens is after the season's over, after the clematis blooms in September or so, and then it's kind of done, when it starts looking not so great, I just cut it all, I just cut at the bottom. I cut it up like maybe 2-3 feet off the ground and then just pull it down very easily, and into the compost it goes. And you can also compost the twine as well. Of course, it's better to use, I think, natural materials if possible rather than plastic. And yeah, basically that's how I train my sweet autumn clematis. I'm a little bit late this year getting it trained because of the fact that I was away, and it's kind of taken off when I got back, so it was definitely on my priority list to get done. So let me show you that, and I apologize, it was just getting dark when I shot this video yesterday. It was just after sunset, so that's why the lighting is like that. It is the following day today, and it has been super warm. It feels like summer, and we are going to be going into a downward trend a little bit, but basically today was very warm. It was right now I think it's like 27 degrees. It was like close to 30 degrees Celsius, which is about, you know, it's basically around 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so quite warm, atypical for us. It's not usually this warm. Like, this is summer weather for sure, and we haven't quite hit summer yet. So let's show you the sweet autumn clematis trellis, makeshift trellis. Hi everyone, it is late evening and I am here with my ladder. I'm just about to add the twine to my trellis, makeshift trellis for my sweet autumn clematis. So let me show you how I do that. Okay, so here is my sweet autumn clematis, and it's a little bit overgrown. I should have done this earlier, but I was away. And you can see in this wooden pillar, I've got these eye hooks. So I've got about 4 of those eye hooks in there, and I have one at the very, very top. And I basically make a triangle with some X's. And I use a ladder, of course, some scissors, and I use this kind of jute twine because it is natural and it will break down eventually. But usually I end up just like kind of taking it down at the end of the year and then just putting it in the compost. So it's necessary to do this because otherwise it will just fall all over the ground, which we don't want, and then it'll be tough to mow the lawn. So once I'm done, I'll show you how it looks. All right, so easy peasy. You can see the twine is up, so I just kind of looped it around the top one, made like a bit of a triangle, a little cross there, and then just tied it at the bottom. And that has been sufficient for me in the past. Ultimately, if it gets too vigorous, you know, you can always add more twine on the side, but this works for me. And you can see this is already kind of making its way up. So there is, believe it or not, and actually like a trellis under here, but it's not tall enough, sufficient enough for this. Sweet autumn clematis is very vigorous. I cut it down to about 2 or 3 inches above the ground, and every year it does this, and it blooms in September. So I will give you updates about how it looks when it's in bloom, but right now it's just like this beautiful green kind of pillar that climbs up there and looks really nice. So I'm gonna start training it a little bit, just give it a little bit of help to go up, and then it'll do everything by itself. And the twine also blends in really nicely with the color of the wood, so it's not like glaringly obvious like a green string would be. All right, and we're back. And since we've done that task, I also wanted to show you some plant hauls that I had. So basically, one of the local nurseries here, they had their end of season sale where they had 50% off. And of course I had to take advantage of that. So let me show you what I got. So this flat here is Alyssum. So I've kind of fallen in love with Alyssum. It has come back for me, so I'm going to be using a lot more of that. It smells like honey, so I really love that smell. So this was $21 originally for the flat, and basically I got it for half price. And you can see I've already used a couple of them. This is purple fountain grass. So this was, I think, about $8.50 and it was half off. And you know, I've seen this in other videos of other people using it. I've never used it myself, but I thought maybe I could use it as a thriller and try it out for once. So that's something I'm going to be trying out. All right, the other plant I got was this Candytuft, or Iberis sempervivums. So this particular one, it's a perennial, and it is called Snowsation. That's the variety of Candytuft it is. And it is basically a full sun plant, requires medium moisture, 6 to 8 inches in height, 10 to 12 inches in width, and it's zones 4A to 9A. So it can handle a wide variety of conditions, and you can see how beautiful it looks. Let me get a close-up. So every time I see these, I want these, and these were half off of $12. So I ended up buying 4 of them. And this is a variety I actually picked up at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, and I've already planted it, and it has a little bit of purple in it. So it's a little bit of a different variety. So this one's already in the ground, and it looked a little bit lonely, so I think I'm gonna put some more in here. And you know, this area is underneath my Crown Princess Margarita rose, and it's a little bit shady, but I think it'll do well here because this one did quite well. So I'm going to give them a try and try to kind of add some brightness to this garden bed here. So I'm going to get those planted. All right, we've got our Candytuft in. So this was a very difficult location to kind of dig in because this honeysuckle here had one really big root, and I think that's actually why that spot was empty. So I had to kind of struggle with that. So we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully it doesn't affect the honeysuckle. Honeysuckle puts out these beautiful blooms, and the hummingbirds just go crazy for them, and they smell so amazing. It's quite budded up right now. So my Candytuft here, I've got a nice white bright spot here. This is a nebra. And I think somebody actually ran into this while I was away on my 2 weeks off from here. So I'm trying to like kind of fix that, but that was a perfect ball when I left. Anyways, I did pop in some of the Alyssum as well, and I'm hoping that will overwinter. This is my Crown Princess Margarita. So I've popped in those 3 Candytuft right here, and they're a little bit different variety than this one, but I think I'm hopeful these will do well, even though they require full sun, because this rose is obviously deciduous. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they do well. So we'll see next year, and if not, I'll move them. But I also popped in some of the Alyssum here, and that's the Candytuft, which I think will really brighten up this area. This lavender is all budded up, and it's going to bloom soon, so that will take care of late summer interest, and that'll be early spring, early summer interest. And actually this is what I want the Alyssum to actually turn out looking like. So this Alyssum is mature. I had put it in last year, and it overwintered and came back beautifully. So that's the goal with these little tiny plants. And you can see we're just at sunset and the moon is coming out. But let's show you that one other Candytuft got placed over here in this corner. So I think this will get sufficient sun, and I just wanted to put something in that corner that would kind of be a little pop of color, and I think it'll do well there. So just have to water this one in.